Hey pals, how's it going? How are we doing? Um, Sorry, my lighting is all fucked in here today, but that's okay. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes everything gets moved around and you don't know what's going on. What about it? Anyway, yeah, hi, hello. I meant to play more of this on the weekend. Meant to stream this weekend, meant to stream on Monday. And then I just didn't have the energy. You know how it goes. Some days you can and some days you can't. That being said, I am very excited to get back to Alone in the Dark. I only vaguely remember everything that happened the previous time, so we'll play catch up together. How about that? I hope y'all's weekend went great. I hope your start to the week went great. It's Wednesday, my dudes. Ah! Sorry, I barely know what I'm doing right now. I'm still incredibly tired. But I felt like I had the energy to play video game, at least for a short while. Plus, wanted to start putting it out there, plans for next week, because it has been brought to my attention that my birthday is next week. Hi, I'm gonna be 30. Oh boy. Nah, it's whatever. Genuinely. Biggest thing that's exciting about it is that I can just listen to 30 by Bad Flower on loop all day, and use my birthday as an excuse. But yeah, my birthday is next Tuesday. I will probably stream a little bit on Tuesday. If not here on Twitch, possibly in my server. I plan on doing something, basically, is what I'm trying to say. In theory, hopefully, potentially, I would like to... Hold on, I have to move my microphone back just a touch. I would like to pick up Dragon's Dogma for my birthday. I plan on like playing a whole bunch of it in May anyway, when I am down and out for my surgery. But I also just think it would be nice to get for myself as a treat. So if I do end up having enough to pick it up this next payday, we might stream that. Again, I don't know if that's going to be here on Twitch or in Discord, but it's going to be a nice, lovely time regardless. If it's not Dragon's Dogma, we'll probably just do more Sly. Because it's a nice, fun game that I like. Yeah, that's happening. What else is going on? Streams this weekend. Again, assuming that I have the energy for it. Next weekend, though. Week from this week. And I know that, like, this weekend is Easter. But the following week is WrestleMania. And I don't know if I'm gonna be around to stream it all that weekend, so... We'll see. But I do believe we'll be streaming the Wrestle Boys and ladies in Sam's Discord, I think, is the general plan. So hey, you should hang out with us while we watch some WrestleMania. Yeah, I think that's about it right now. I'm excited about Alone in the Dark. Hey, y'all want to play some Alone in the Dark? Y'all want to play some ding-dang video game? Let's fucking go. What's happened? Reality is falling apart, as it do. We found Uncle, right? We found Jeremy? What is this? Where is this music coming from? And he seemed not great. He didn't seem like he was doing the best. Why is it cutting in and out like that? What is causing this? I haven't seen Miss Heartwood in a while. Where the fuck is she in all of this? Also, what is our what's our goal here? Obsolete items have been archived. Okay. Cool. My map is of no use here.
World seeping into Deseto.
Right.
Was this a taste of that mysterious Terrawea?
We have to investigate the small parlor. And the talisman has shown us the gate to the dining room. Right. We did the thing. We were doing the thing. Can I go in here? No. Am I bleeding? Is that what's happening here? G to Dink? Oh god, we are like covered in blood. What happened? Are we still bleeding? Does not look like it. Okay. I'm sorry, Carnby. I didn't realize you were hurting. But yeah, we've got the talisman that Jeremy Hartwood was using to get places, and now we're using it to get places. Isn't that neat? And we're trying to get to Terrawea? Is that correct? Why are we doing that? For why? That's the library. Where is the dining room? Wish I had a map that functioned. Oh, I do have a map that functions now. Small parlor is this way. Through the library. And over here. Is this not where I started? This is where I started. There's something in here though, so maybe I'm just silly. Radio just cuts in and out like it do. Don't worry about it. Oh, that's what's still in here. Oh, I can have this now. I have a shotgun. Exciting. Do I have to use it? How do I... Trying to figure out which numbers do what. Okay, pistol is on 1. Excuse me. Gun is on 2. Okay. Objectives? Okay, we do have to go to the dining room, which is over here. I have to go back in that hallway. Okay. Okay. I think when we stopped playing on Saturday, I was just starting to get used to, like, where everything was. Of course, I have now forgotten. But I want to go in there? Maybe I don't want to go in there, actually. I take that back. Whoa! Oh, hello. Oh, that is incredibly loud. Okay, hold on. Just a second. Oh, my ears. Sound effects. Down just a bit, please. Oh my god.
I'm all out of bullets.
Oh, okay. Well, just do a dink, please, and swap weapons and get out of the way. Yikes. Okay. Keep doing a dink, bud. Great. Can I have this pickaxe? Well, I'm glad I have shotgun shells, but can I have this pickaxe? Hey, thanks for the pickaxe. This where you want me to go? No. I thought man had a thing on his chest. Because that's happened before. We've seen that. That's a thing. Why did that scare me? Okay, can we leave now? Can I go through here? Is that allowed? Hey, is that allowed? Okay, great. Is that...
Oh.
No. This is the dining room. I know where I'm going. To an extent. I know what's happening.
Here we go.
You do want to go through here. Probably should have just finished this off this last time we played, but you know what? That's okay. We're doing it now. Who's this guy?
I'm glad to see you made it. I had my doubts, but the hope you instilled has yet abandoned me.
I guess this must be Tarawea. Who are you?
My name is Juan Luis Jorge, and this is indeed the convent of Tarawea. You'll have to excuse me, but Yermi never got your name.
The name's Edward Carnby. I'm a private investigator. You're not a patient, are you?
No. I'm the author of a book that Yermi once found important.
How does that work? Are you part of this memory as well? Is this even a memory?
I think calling me a manifestation of Yermi's subconscious would be more correct. And so is the convent of Tarawea. I'm a man Yermi has never met, and we are in a place that he has never been.
Okay. So are you here to guide me or something?
I have no more purpose than you do. I simply am. I will happily help you, of course, if I'm able.
If you are already somehow part of Jeremy, why did he want to come here? Isn't he sort of here already?
Yermi wanted to come here because it's a representation of his mind at peace. When Dr. Gray asks him to find his focus during his sessions, this far-flung convent is what Yermi imagines. He is under the impression that if he could physically come here, he would reach a perfect equanimity. A spiritual apotheosis.
You don't think it would work?
Yermi subconsciously knows it's just wishful thinking. He can't come here. Despite the pathways opened by the dark man between their Seto and Yermi's psyche, it's simply not possible.
But I'm here.
Indeed. It's a shame it's just another place for you, Detective. Otherwise, you could have become a Buddha.
Always a bridesmaid, never a blushing bride. Am I right?
Yes, I suppose so. You'll have to chase enlightenment elsewhere.
So what's the next best thing? What can I do here?
You should seek out the convent library and try to find the truth about Yermi's relationship with the Dark Man. It's the sort of knowledge he represses and is unable to reflect on.
Will it tell me how to break the pact?
Perhaps. At least you'll have something to confront Yermi with.
Wait, why can't you just tell me?
I don't know such things. You'd be better off consulting the text of Dr. Freud if you want such answers.
No thanks, I hate shrinks.
There is another thing you should know about the library. He is here as well. The Dark Man has been working his way through the text for a long, long time.
He's here? How am I supposed to get past him?
Be careful, Detective.
Oh, jeez, just perfect.
You want to know the secret relationship between the Dark Man and Jeremy? They were roommates. Oh my god, they were roommates. Okay, cool. I like Juan. Even if he's not real,
Any
he seems
advice
cool.
on how to deal with the Dark Man?
I suppose suppression could work. Try not to pay him any attention.
So just don't look at him. He's an Enderman, is what you're telling me. Just don't make eye contact and it'll be fine. Easy, easy. I assume that's the door they want me to go through, but I do just want to take a quick little peek around. See if we can find anything. Like textures that don't collide all the way. It's fine. Okay. It's really pretty here. I'd hang out in this courtyard. Hi, Devo. Ooh, it's dark. That's not the button I wanted. I wanted... Right, it's V for your flashlight, because that makes sense. My flashlight. There was some stuttering going on, and I got scared. Excuse me? Hello? Game does have a hard time running. Tends to lag a bit when you're like changing between areas or if a lot is suddenly happening, which is a little frustrating, but like knock on wood, it hasn't crashed yet. And has run the whole time. So not too upset about it. Honestly, like the biggest thing that I worry about is that it is going to crash. Ooh. Hey, but what's that? Edward, you're not letting me walk. Okay. Yes, of course I'm going into the weird water first. Why wouldn't I? Take a sip. Delicious. What's this? And we've already seen statues like this before, right? In the... whatever room had the telescope in it. Ladder. What do you do?
There's something missing.
Okay. We need a cross shape. What are you looking at? Up there? Or up there? Hi. You mentioned that the Dark Man was here, right? That's a little concerning. Considering he floats around. And did he punch us? Or was he going after Jeremy and Jeremy pushed us and that's why we got knocked out?
The great library was endless, beautiful, and terrible.
There we go.
An Akashic record for the universe inside the mind of Jeremy Hartwood, now corrupted by a story forced upon him, told by a maniacal liar, an evil conjured by science and secrecy. I will suspend a room and lock away the foundation of his character. Its key will be left to the librarian, the only thing invisible to the prowler.
Okay. The key of hubris? Is that what that says? Is that how I'm supposed to read that? Put my stupid face back up there. As per usual, there's no good place to put a face cam. Oh, blood! Nothing over here. I am lacking bullets as a whole. I'm also really low on health. You health? No, you're a wheel. Never mind. Hey, it probably wants me to go upstairs. I would like to find some health items, though. If at all possible, because I stopped in a really stupid place and got my ass whooped. Like you do. Okay, it's a little upsetting that there is no health around here. But what can you do? Yes, I die. Can I? Cannot go that way. Okay. Just wanted to double check that I couldn't jump over, and I can't. Whatever. Man's got the thing I want. Sorry. I heard a noise and it scared me and I couldn't figure out what it was. I know what it is now. Give me this. Hubertus. Okay, it's not the key of hubris. I see. Do you think that's where the guy is? Oh, no, that's where the guy is. Well... Ah, ah, ah! He's coming at me! Slowly! And menacingly! Shit. Oh, it's bad here! Ah! Oh, he just goes wherever he wants. Okay. There are no intelligent paths here. He just goes. Where is he? Well, I don't know that I want to be up here. 'Cause the man is there. Oh my god. Ah! What am I supposed to do? He's where I need to be. Sir? Oh, please be on the correct side. Oh, Carnby. You silly Billy. Are we done? Are we done being chased? All done? Oof. Okay, well. Now what? It's not a dang healing item anywhere here, is what you're telling me. Hate that. Would really like to replenish my health. No, that's a noise in my house again. It's fine. I know what that is. I don't even know if y'all can hear it, but I certainly can. Just every once in a while. Okay. Yeah, no health items.
Here's something.
Yeah, there is something here. We put the not key of hubris in there. Ooh boy, where did those frames go?
It was in the hot autumn that I went through the night with the restless crowds. He was a kind of itinerant showman who held forth in public halls and aroused widespread fear. The New Orleans address of the event is lost, but I remember distinctly the Prext shipping company pressing their contribution. Hey.
Detective!
Juan!
I hope you found what you were looking for.
I fear there is no going back.
I was so close. There must be something I can work with. Come on, Garmby, think. Think. The shipping company. Prext. Right.
Good luck, detective.
Well, thank God you're here, Detective. Sitting all alone in a place like this? I'd never live it down if the papers got wind of it.
Hey. Ruth, right?
Oh, don't pretend you don't know. I'm sure you have a whole file on me by now, Detective. I suppose we weren't formally introduced. I'm Ruth Talon. Miss Ruth Talon, in case you're wondering.
Edward Carnby.
Enchanté.
You sure?
I had too many already.
Nice. It's good.
I know. I have great taste, Detective. I heard you're trying to break Jeremy's promise to the Dark Man.
Yeah. Do you know anything about that kind of stuff?
No, but it makes you wonder. If he made a promise, can't he simply stand by his words?
Look, I'm just trying to get Jeremy out of a bad deal, so he'll come back with us to New Orleans.
Well, if all fails.
What are you doing?
It's a sign of submission to the Dark Man. I saw it in a dream once.
What? You don't know the Prext shipping company by any chance?
I do. They made big money during the war. Their waterfront office is just over there.
How did you do that?
Do what, Detective? Bonne chance.
Hey, have you seen Emily Hartwood anywhere?
Are you trying to make me jealous, Detective? No, I haven't seen your doll anywhere.
We are just whipping around everywhere, huh?
Prext
There we
Shipping
go.
Company. According to the book in Tarawea, the Dark Man is connected to a performance that Jeremy went to somewhere in New Orleans. I'm sure I can find the address inside.
Yeah, that situation with the Dark Man just kind of like escalated incredibly quickly. He just took a book from us, and then we tried to shoot ourselves. I liked his hat. His hat was cool. Had those like little wings that like opened up. What is Juan in all of this though? Are you? No, you're a throwy thing. Oh, 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 oh. No. No, he knows I'm here. I'm not getting away. Sometimes when you go to aim, if you're like too close to a wall, you sorta just look at the back of Carnby's head, which is a bit of a problem, really. When you think of it. There we go. Okay. This is fine. We're doing great, actually. What are you? You're a brick. I can throw you. I don't want to throw you. I don't imagine an oar is a very good weapon. Oh my god. Hi. Okay. Again, if I could just find some health items, I would be incredibly happy. Because poor old Ed.
There must be
There's
another
one.
way inside.
Oh, hey. Black Pharaoh, Temple of Mysteries, Miracles, Dark Magic, Wonders! Can I have this? Map!
The sewer system has a tunnel running right below Preg's shipping company. I bet
Do-
I can use it to get inside.
Do we want to? Is it needed? Are you a healing item too? Please. Please, you look like you are. Oh, I guess you're not. Okay. I mean, we're not that low on health. I just would feel much better if we had health. Just a little stockpile. Ah, they're so wiggly! Okay, well, that's that broken. We don't want to keep using that, right? What is this? Is that just a bit of wood?
Hey,
It's just a bit of wood. Ah, jeez. Okay, bullets. Machine gun cartridge. I'm sorry, we're gonna get a machine gun? Hi, Fruity. I'm gonna chase you around the yard with a bit of wood. Been thinking about Shaun of the Dead recently. Just to preface that very strange statement I just said. I just want some health items, and I'm pretty sure that that is a bottle for me. And I can't pick it up, and it's not because I'm full. It's fine. That's fair. Throwing vinyl records at me to keep me at bay. That's an acceptable trade-off here. But yeah, how's it going? How are you doing? There is a wiggly boy over there. There is some health here. These are definitely... Oh my god. Okay, why can't I pick all of them up? Glad you're doing alright. It's pretty okay. There's a lot happening. It moves very quick at points. We got shamblers and gribblers about. But I'm having fun with it so far. Can I go in there? I would like to go in there. Don't be locked. You're barred. Oh, this is a problem. Okay. Yeah, it's alright so far. I don't know. It's not the greatest video game I've ever played. Give me that sledgehammer. But yeah, I'm having fun with it so far. Granted, this is like only the second sit down that we've done so far. What's up here? But it's interesting. Can I jump in? Probably should have like finished looking around up there, but hey, health. Oh. Dragon's Dogma, from what I have heard, has had some serious optimization issues when it comes to the towns specifically, and then it's got all those like horrible microtransactions. But they're not necessary. You can earn everything that you need within the like everything that you can purchase from microtransactions you can just get in game. I don't know. I'm still probably gonna pick up Dragon's Dogma, and I would like to before or like at the end of the week maybe if I've got the funds for it. But oh, there's two guys, not one guy. No, sir. I can't see. Let's hope you can get the camera in people's faces good. Here's hoping. I had to, when I was testing out games for gummy hunting purposes. Sir? Is he just stuck on the hat that's over there? Nope, he's spitting. I don't want to be there. He wormed. We'll just let him worm. You have to, like, go into photo mode and then wiggle the camera, but you're not allowed to just move the camera around anywhere you want. He's just stuck on the wall. Man doesn't know what's happening. And honestly, like, same? So I can't blame him. But we do be loving seeing gummies. I can't... Wait. No. Oh! We could see gummies for, like, 0.1 of a second. Oh god, Carnby. Oh, buddy, what is your face doing? Hold on. Can we... I need to be just the right distance away. Carnby, you're wiggling around a little too much, buddy. Oh. Stop moving your face. I can. Okay, it's fine. We can get them for a moment, and that's fun. I don't know why he was stuck, but he was. We'll just let him go. Yeah, for Dragon's Dogma, you have to like go into photo mode and then wiggle the camera around a little bit. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but like you can do it, and they got some good gums in there. So far, there hasn't really been anyone else in this game that I could try and find gums with, but I tried to do it on Saturday, and he just vanished. It's like what they were doing in Alan Wake, and it's like, but I want to see. To say I want to see your insides, and I regret that. I regret saying that. What is this? Typewriter ribbon. It's the collectibles. That's what that is. He needs to go. Get out of here, sir. Everyone wants to see the gums. They're just, the part of the issue is, with this one in particular.
No way I can get this out of the way with my bare hands.
Is...
If I get that crane going, that should do it.
Oh, there the mouth. There the mouth. What that mouth do? Never thought you were gonna see inside. Oh, no! No, don't think anybody ever thought they were gonna see the insides of David Harbour's face. Yet here we are. Oh, Lord. Yeah, we haven't really, like, come across, like, too many characters that we could, like, hang out with at the same time. Look at those teeth! Why'd they make them so realistic? Oh, God! And then there's his tongue. It was there for, like, 0.2 seconds. And then we got the orbs. Wow, okay. I'll stop doing that now. I understand, Carnby. Or get the crane going. Yeah, I get it. I'll do it. Just hang on a second, man. Gotta give me a minute. We were looking at your insides. It was very important that we get a little peeky peek. Oh god, I could probably do that with Emily too when we play her route. Oh no. Are you? He's doing this for me. I don't have to do anything. Which is both a blessing and also a little disappointing, honestly. That's too many guys. That's too many guys. Oh god. How did that miss? How did that miss? Carnby, how'd you miss? It's there. Oh, that's too many. Okay, we're leaving. It's just time to go. Oh, God. What we're hearing is that that's too many guys. Oh, they're still coming! Fuck! No! I'm stuck in a corner! Carnby! I think that's the first time that we've died. Load most recent save, please. Please. How do I... I'm hitting enter, I'm hitting Y, I'm clicking left mouse, space, enter. It's E. You have to use E for some reason. I know E is the interact button. Oh, 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 oh. Go in there, Carnby. Why did it load them there with me? What is that? What were you pointing out? A brick. A brick! There's a guy. Okay, this is fine. We're doing great. Everything is okay. Maybe it's not okay. I take that back. Is my shotgun loaded? Yes, it is. Carnby's a little under the weather, so we'll just take a swig. Okay, I don't want to creep everywhere, but also I am concerned about life in general. I didn't think that was gonna hit. Okay. Okay. I'm doing great. Thanks. Yeah, I'm just generally concerned. I don't want to be in the sewers, is the main thing. It's kind of bad down here. But then, to be fair, pretty bad upstairs too. Great. Health. Love it. We are almost capped out on health now. And that makes me very happy. Because that means I have room to fuck up. And I like that. Okay.
All right. Made it inside the warehouse.
Brext Shipping Company. Okay. I know we don't really, like, have any sort of idea as to what we're looking for here. Because Notebook got stolen from us before we had a chance to, like, know what was going on. But do we have a general idea? Oh, okay, it's a collectible. I was like, why do I want this trumpet? Because I don't want this trumpet. Can I go through here? No. I mean, we're just trying to figure out who the Dark Man is. Toot the trumpet. Brr. That's my trumpet noise. Brr. Is that good enough? Hey, fire poker. Yeah, we have the scary guy chasing us. He's got big purple robes, he levitates places, he exudes smoke. He's tormenting poor Uncle Jeremy. And now he's occasionally making us want to shoot ourselves. You know, like you do. But he's like the main antagonist, and we're trying to figure out how to sorry, I'm trying to like figure out how to like succinctly cover everything. Dark Man, fighter of the day man? Possibly. Are you a gun?
Yeah,
I mean, no, it's a gun, but Is this the machine gun? It's a Tommy gun. Great. He looks like such a dweeb. But he's like, apparently Jeremy, Emily's uncle, made like some promise to the Dark Man, and we're trying to figure out a way to like make that null.
Our ship was raided while in dock. All of his things were recovered, but blood was shed. Several men were carried into the Mississippi River and drowned by ones who live in the deep. All items have now been signed and delivered. Now best keep the papers safe. What is left? Later is right. And hell is back again.
What later hell? Is that like a new take on the what fresh hell is this? Ooh, can I open you? No, I don't know what the code is. What? Later hell? Hold on. Actually, all his things were recovered, but blood was shed. Several men were carried into the Mississippi. All items have been signed and delivered. Now best keep the papers safe. What is left? Later is right. Hell is back again. Is it 454? I can hear talking. So 4 gunk. Let me enter this pencil. 4 left. 5 right. And 4 right again? Is that correct? Because there aren't that many numbers here, right? No, there are. There are a number of numbers here, actually. 12 to be exact. We want 4? Five, 4? Oh! I didn't think that was gonna work! Alright!
Gotta go manifesto. September 19th, 1892.
Do I just live in
Wreck
this corner
shipping cavalry
now?
delivered 4 steamer trunks,
No.
1 Egyptian sarcophagus, and a large wooden crate belonging to the showman called the Black Pharaoh, performing at K18th Street.
Okay. I do live up here, is the thing. Because otherwise,
Here we
y'all
go.
can't see my
The
health
address
and
where Jeremy first
my
encountered
ammo.
the Dark Man.
I didn't think that was going to be the solution. I'm pretty proud of myself. Just seemed too repetitive. Thought I heard a guy. Also, okay, Tommy gun is number 4 on my list. That's my sledgehammer. And it has been used, so it's damaged, so I'm better off sticking with whatever the fuck I picked up. What did I pick up? A fire poker. Delightful. How do I leave? Oh, God! You know what? Tommy gun it. Get that Tommy gun out. Get that Tommy gun out. I'm hitting 4. Why aren't you getting your Tommy gun out? Oh, because it's 3. Oh, game is unhappy. Oh, I'm stuck in a corner again. Let's not have that happen. God, there are too many guys. Why must you throw so many guys at me? Why? Okay, let's just reload. Okay. Okay. Alright. Be done. Hi, stars. You should have done it. You should have tormented your Lyft driver by making them listen to me scream about things. I genuinely could not tell you what I've been talking about this stream. But hi, welcome in. How are you doing? I saw in your server that you were doing things, and you completed many a thing. Congrats! I'm proud of you. Good job. Yeah, game has a really hard time when a bunch of dudes show up or a bunch of things spawn in. It's fine. We can deal with it.
Looks like the fog cleared up.
Oh, good, because that's the way that we want to go. I'm hoping that, because this game has been out for like almost a week now, right? Oh my god, excuse me. I'm hoping that they patch that soon. I don't know. Oh jeez. You went outside and then missed the last bus and paid so much money to come home. But it's fine. Was it super nice where you are today? Cause like here it looked gorgeous. It was bright and sunny and lovely. And then you go outside. You actually go out there. And it was fucking freezing. It's been hovering at about like -1 Celsius most of today. Witness the Black Pharaoh. Give me these. But I'm glad you made it home. I hope you feel accomplished in all that you've done today. Happy to have you here, pal. How are we on health? Actually, can I see my health? Health? No, not allowed to see. It's cold and rainy, so sunny, but then standing outside and you're like, hello? Okay. Okay, cause same. That was more or less my experience today. I like went to take the trash out earlier. And was like, yeah, I can do that in like a t-shirt and like my sweats and like some thin shoes or whatever. And it's gonna be fine. That I got outside and it was windy. It was heckin' windy and cold. And I was like, I have to run or I am going to freeze and die. But it's fine. I got back inside and it was fine. Hey, do you think the Dark Man is here? Because I don't want him to be. I like it when Carnby doesn't try and shoot himself in the head. I like it when Carnby not Harmby. And I'm just gonna dink. Because I don't have any blood on my shirt anymore. And I'm just worried about him, you know? He seems like he's not doing the greatest. Outside is cold and it's bad and oops.
You want to tell me what this is all about?
Welcome, Detective, to the greatest show this side of the Mississippi. Now the hotel, the Black Pharaoh, the ancient magician who lived 1,000 lives and wore 1,000 masks.
I can see why you settled on calling him the Dark Man. Saves your breath. So, you got scared by a stage magician, and now he's living inside your head.
You can mock me, Detective. But you would be the crazy one to think his presence can be ignored. Look where we are!
We didn't get to finish our last conversation, did we? You were about to tell me how to break the contract with the Dark Man.
No, We can't. If we turn her loose on the world, so many innocent would die.
But there is a way to break out of the deal.
There is. You offered me a way out. Steps to take.
What are they?
You'll never find them. They're forever entombed in his sunken desert temple.
Jeremy, I'm not your enemy. Tell me where to go. How do I find the temple?
No, we can't. I have to make this sacrifice.
God damn it, Jeremy. I'm gonna save you. Don't worry.
But
Please
what
save
if he
someone who
doesn't
doesn't
want to
wanna
be
be
saved? Oh.
Well, he's gonna get saved no matter what. Find the temple somehow.
Carnby, no. What if he doesn't want to be saved? Oh, no, hold on. I don't want to do that just yet. Oh, wait. I need to... Outside one. Okay, hold on. Outside one is gonna be... Is Pisces. Middle is... Hold on, this pencil is garbage. That's some of the reason I'm having trouble right now. Pisces, Gemini, and then... Oh, which one is that? That's not Capricorn, is it? I don't think it is. No. And it's not Leo, because Leo's the funny little circle with the wiggly tail. I should know these. It's fine. We do have... Oh, it's Scorpio. No! Virgo. So that's 8. Pisces is 2. And Gemini is 5. So 2, 5, 8. We have done these puzzles before. We understand. Okay. Can I leave? I don't want to, but I just want to see if I can open it. No, I don't have the key. Okay. Yeah, I understand, game. I understand I'm supposed to find the zodiac workings on the talisman. I get it. Okay, so center is going to be 8. This is going to be 5. You like these braziers? Underrated form of lighting, honestly. Give you good mood lighting. Keep you a little bit warm too. 2. I'm looking for 2. There we go. Can dunk someone in it if they're being particularly annoying. Is it? Are we going in? Oh, okay. This is fine and normal. I am. Can he stop turning his lights off? I don't know if he actually had it off. Maybe our flashlight just sucks. Okay, we're gonna just find our way to the sunken temple. No issue. There.
Oh.
Why is anyone worried? I do like the area transitions. They've been real neat so far. I'm a little concerned about being in Egypt. I don't know that I am prepared for this kind of climate. Hold on a second. Y'all can't hear him, but I can. It's very distracting. Okay. We're gonna have to do some horrible ritual to summon the temple?
A sunken desert town.
Or we just...
I better get down there.
We just hopping on in. Cool. Ooh. Yeah, it's pretty. Even though I've had to, like, turn down the visuals to try and help with some of the, like, stuttering we've been dealing with, it's still just, like, a real pretty game. And me? Me. Hello. How goes? Please tell me there are like a million bullets in here because I need and want these. Thanks for the rope, but I'm looking for bullets.
The temple of Nephron lies under our camp. Despite all efforts,
Thank you, Emin, for the contribution to the gummy hunt.
Collapse, but sink beneath the sand. The pharaoh is long dead. His
Thank you, sirs, for the contribution to the gummy hunt.
Stricken from all ancient writing.
Just got off work.
But that stage meant for blood and terror remains. The temple is said to be lightless, built to harbor all the haunters of the dark found in the very depths of our universe. Calling on the gods meant creating a bridge between our world and theirs. The terrible Aldebaran of Taurus, the Black Sun, was seen as the most important star in the night sky. Because, according to the Kitab al-Azif, it was said to be the home of that crawling chaos known as Nyarlathotep. Through ancient mechanisms, it was said that the priests could open shafts channeling the light emitted by that strange stone called the Shining Trapezohedron. Several streams pooled together above the statue of that dark man would then be sent through space towards the Black Sun, a message to the gods. The gifts bestowed on the sender are completely undocumented, but often assumed to involve dark blood pacts, where souls are traded for malicious miracles.
I am the Shining Trapezohedron. It's a bad name. Stars, you're wonderful, but, like, consider a different name? Anyway, to answer your question, I mean, sorry, I needed to let the man finish speaking. I'm doing alright. I'm real dang tired, but we're here, and we're playing silly little video game. The fuck are those? Oh, wait, they're here, and they are leaving. Okay. Horrible little scarab bats. You hate to see it. Yeah, I'm doing alright. I'm tired, but we're here, and we're playing game. And I've been enjoying it so far. That's where we're supposed to put this.
Here we go.
Yeah. I don't know, the pacing has been a little weird in some spots. But I'm having fun with it, and that's all that really matters. Oh, well, we're not getting back out. Hey, we're not getting back out. Oh, look, it's kind of the Dark Man. Is he flipping us off? What's happening here? Oh, no, he's doing that symbol that the lady told us about. It is very nice when Emmy is here. It's very nice when all my friends are here. I like it when my friends are here. I like my friends. I wish he was flipping us off. Thought he was, and I was like...
The Taurus.
Sir?
And one star's clearly bigger. Must be important.
Yeah, okay.
I have a feeling this is it. This is where the contract is hidden. But how do I get to it?
Well... You don't. I'm just gonna need a moment to walk around, figure out what's happening. What's this? That's a canopic jar, but he's got a tentacle. I would like to open this, actually. I can't look at it. Okay. Whenever I die and I get cremated, I would like to be put in a jar like that, please, and thank you. The thing I try not to be cynical about that some people say, which is, it is good to be. It is good to be here. It is good to be here together. All of those things are true. It is good to be. It's true! I feel this, and I understand this. It is good to be, and it's good to be here, and it's good to be here together, and I like being here with my friends, and oh god, I don't like scarab bats coming at me when I'm trying to have a nice moment with my friends. Okay. Jesus Christ. Okay. That's fine and great. Hi Barrymore, how's it going? Welcome in, pals. Yeah, we don't like being with the scarab bats. They were kind of rude. Okay, I kind of know where I'm going. Sorry, every time an enemy shows up, my brain just immediately yeets whatever the last thing I had in it was. Like, whatever the last task I was thinking about was, and then I just have to reorient myself, is what's happening there. Have I mentioned I'm incredibly tired? Like, I feel really good. Like, overall, like, I'm doing pretty dang great, all things considered. I'm just real dang sleepy, which means that my brain isn't firing on all cylinders, like I would like it to, but that's okay. That just means y'all get silly, forgetful Kaysh right now. I got the horizon. Yeah, sometimes just tired, sometimes tired brain. It's fine. Like, it is fine.
This one looks operational.
I assume you want me to point you there. Oops. It said escape to go back, and then escape just took me to the pause menu. Silly tired Kaysh is a good Kaysh too. Good. I'm glad y'all appreciate me in my various states. Nah, like I said, like I do feel good. So it's not like, I don't know. It's not like I'm sitting here like forcing myself to do stuff. I've been really stoked to play more Alone in the Dark since we played some on Saturday. But I've been out of it the last few days. And then was incredibly tired yesterday because I had, not yesterday, Monday. Because I had my physical therapy appointment, which went great. My physical therapist is very happy with the progress that we are making. We'll see how that continues on. I don't like wasting bullets on these guys, but also they seem like they'd be pretty dang hard to hit any other way. But yeah, it was like physically exhausting. Was the appointment. It was a good appointment. But what are those? Those are my scarab bats. Yeah, anyway, I'm just kind of rumbling on about silly things. But yeah, now that more people are here, I will say, just as a general reminder, can I not take that? Okay. I mentioned it at the start of stream, but it was brought to my attention that next week is my birthday. So I will probably do at least a short stream on Tuesday. The day of my birth. And I don't know, I want to pick up Dragon's Dogma, but we'll see if I have the funds for it this next payday. If I do, then we'll probably stream that a little bit on Tuesday. I'm not sure if we'll do that here on Twitch or if we'll do that in Discord. That is subject to change. And again, it kind of just depends on what my energy levels are.
It worked.
Oh, wait! Oh, I can't set all of them on fire, just the one. Okay. Why did it look at him like that? Regardless, I do just want to, like, have a little tiny celebration, because I think it would be fun. I love how you just occasionally smack them out of the sky. Pats, I was talking to my friends! Yeah, it's real fucking rude of them to, like, zoom in here while I'm trying to have a conversation with my pals, okay? They can have their turn, but not right now. I'm talking. But yeah, I'm stoked. I'm excited. It's gonna be a nice, fun time. I can sit on his head. Hell yeah. But yeah, I want to do just a nice little thing, because that's more or less all I do for my birthday anymore. Nowadays, it's just stream and hang out with my pals and have a nice time that way. Just imagining this man just saying everything you're saying while he saunters around. I mean, listen, me and Edward Carnby, basically the same fucking guy. Hold on, can we get the gummies again? Come on, come on, come on, come on. Hold on. Birdie was here when I discovered that I could get the gums a bit. Edward Maximus Carnby. I don't know what his middle name is. Yeah, it was it was not good. Rudy, you're still here. Hi. Oh. Why is his face not doing that? I mean, that's fair. You're allowed to be in a cave. Listen. We appreciate lurking. Maybe this is just like the wrong kind of wall to be doing this on. Let's do this here. They are being very shy. Now there's lots of people here and they're like, oh, I can't be seen. We won't be seen. I see you have teeth, Carnby. Show me your fucking teeth. Oh my god, I'm gonna do it. It's gonna happen. I don't think he is. He's real shy about it now. He doesn't want to show me his teeth. And I'm taking that as like a personal slight at this point. Okay. Here, let's try it this way. Man won't just back up, he has to turn. And that's a problem for me specifically. Okay, still too far away. Still too far away. Oh, we're getting closer. Oh. Oh, they're there for just like a moment, the slightest moment. They really just don't want the camera colliding with the character, huh? They are in there. He also just moves so much. Okay, we'll try again later. He's got no teeth, but he needs the teeth. I just want him to have his teeth. If nothing else, if we can't get him to show up again, we can always, I I can always go back and clip the section. It was very horrible to look at. Okay, I know I'm trying to, like, find... We're trying to find a thing to... I need a lens, is what I'm attempting to say and doing a very piss-poor job of. Where is lens? It doesn't help that I've been just incredibly distracted. This is where I need to go, because this is what I opened up. I am just very incredibly distracted talking about Carnby teeth. Which, you know, understandable. Who doesn't get distracted when trying to force a camera into a man's face? Stop vanishing, Carnby. I know they're in there. You can try to hide them all you want, but it's wrong. I opened it. That's a good pickaxe. Ooh. I should probably not run quickly into the room. Is there anything in there? Oh, Carnby, you're stuck. Oh, Carnby, don't do that. Oh, no. Can I have this? Oh, right. I have to turn the laser on first. That helps. Open. I keep hitting the wrong button because it tells me that it's a specific button, and then it lied. Okay, we're doing great. I have genuinely enjoyed the puzzles in this game thus far. They've been pretty like straightforward. But fun nonetheless. I don't know. I've not had a terrible time with it. I need to go upstairs. Is the thing. So let's put it in this one because it's the closest. Oh, just kidding. It does not belong there. Never mind. They just want to be incredibly particular and picky. Which, fair enough. The star?
Huh.
Yeah. Alright. Nope. Carnby, don't back away yet. I can burn the guys! I can't go that low. They will not come up to me. Okay.
It worked.
I just want the silly little guys to go away. Gotta leave me alone. I am busy. Okay. I don't know what I'm doing. It's fine. How do I go down? Here? This way? This way. Realize why that you hate the bats. They remind you of the bad bats from Star Fox Adventure that forever respawn and cackle at you? Dick move, bats. Jeez. Can I go? I don't think this is the way that I was supposed to go. Carnby, you should be able to go down there while crouching. The actual worst. I think I've just taken like a really long way to go back, but it's fine. We are, in fact, back. Oh my god. Anyone else? Oh, hello! Oh, Carnby, why are we stuck?
I'm all out of bullets.
Okay, well, we wouldn't have this issue if maybe you would get off the sand? Carnby, please. Okay, hold on. Let's heal up. I'm stuck on something that I'm not supposed to be on, and I don't know how to get out of here. I keep getting pulled further in. Oh no! If I just spam this, will we get out? Carnby is stuck. Oh! I don't want to do this speedrun clip. I'm scared. Oh no! How do I not be here anymore? Hup! 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 Yeah, please. Mom, come pick me up. I'm scared. When's the last load? 5:42? That was an hour ago. Don't make me do this game. What if I crouch? I got pulled in. I can't. This is the dodge we have. It's all good. Have a good rest of your time zone. And we'll see you later, friend. I need another enemy to like knock me out. Please. What if I... Did that do anything? Oh. I don't even think it's I don't think it's the guy I'm stuck on. I genuinely think it's the sand and the pillar that are the problem here. I don't want to reload. That was so long ago. What if I go further in here? No? Okay. Oh, maybe? No. Oh. I was trying that over here. He kind of just stays in place when you do a hit. What if I... Yeah, it's a little stinky. And I can't walk this way. Oh no. Is there... What if I save here? Just real quick. Wait, 5:46, right? That's what that said. Maybe it's not actually that far behind. I thought that was an hour ago because it's 6:47 here. Reload that, actually. Hold on. I was gonna say, what if I... Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, that's the door we were trying to go through. Get off me, bat! It's fine. The situation is not as dire as we thought it was. It was a couple of minutes and not an hour. Stay as far away from that fucking wall as possible. Alright. Yeah, I was gonna actually cry. It's my own fault for, like, not saving regularly. But it was still upsetting.
I'm all out of bullets.
Well, don't be out of bullets then. Okay. Woof. Yeah, we're recovered. Everything is fine. It's okay. Okay, I am out of bullets for my pistol, which is a bit of a problem for me. Just on a personal standpoint. Hold on. Sorry, I closed the door and Devo wants out now. Come on, buddy. He's gonna get mad and want to come back in a bit, but for now, he can cope. We also might actually just like take a. We're gonna take a short break because I stood up and I realized I have to go to the bathroom. So now that we've gotten this thing, I'm sorry. We were in a wall for a little bit, but it's fine. We fixed it. Man is not in wall anymore. Let me do an actual save. The real save. And we're gonna take a quick break so I can go potty. So be right back. Gotta go pee. Okay, so capture all the red pieces simultaneously using the gold ones. Up for fuck! You can't just spawn right next to me, man! He and I are getting married.
Seems like it. He's pretty partial to you.
I don't know why. I was calling him names the entire time.
Well, maybe that's his king.
He's into that shit.
Game, please listen. Hold on, I have to update content warnings.
First date.
Full screen, please. And now this doesn't want to work anymore?
You need his help. Get out.
Look at that! And there's smearing blood everywhere! It's fine, at this point it doesn't matter. We're not attached to any of these characters except for Clement. I was about to say, I'm very excited for when I can, like, explode people and then just realize I definitely have, like, an explosive on me right now. So that's gonna be cool. I'm excited for that. Actually, hold on a second. Love her! Love her so much! Love her so much! Look at her!
This is always a concert.
Like that man! There's a rifleman over here. Oh, there goes my camera. This is fine.
Camera.
This is fine. Hello, it's back. I am back. Everything is fine. I definitely did hear the horrible birthday song clip. What a good time. Emmy, I do have the second Barrow Hill game. If you ever want to play that with me sometime. Just saying. Okay, good. Okay, good. At some point. One day we'll get scared by rocks. Because you gotta get scared by rocks. Rocks are terrifying. It's a known fact about rocks. Give me... I don't know if it actually gave me a new one or not. I think big rocks, big hunks of probably like slate or granite maybe. They're very silly. I've been thinking about scratches again lately as well. Wait, did I pick up the item I was looking for? I did, okay. They slide at you so much and so aggressively that you T-pose. What are you supposed to do with that? Give me this. I don't know how to exist in life if I have to T-pose at things. It's true, T-posing won't save you, but that will be your immediate response to rock sliding at you, is to just... You think you're gonna be safe, and you are a fool. Yeah, no, I've been thinking about scratches lately. Just been trying to, like, I don't know, find more silly games to play recently. Why won't that go down further? Scratches was weird. I guess it doesn't matter. It counts. I liked it, but it was weird. I'm curious to see how adult Kayshurrr reacts to it. You know, it's been some time since I played it. I did see that there was discussion of playing The Hobbit, which is wild. We were so young. So silly. I have noticed the Hobbit arc. Can I do anything with this now? Have I... Oh, do I need to get, like, on top of his head now? That would kind of make sense. Yeah. Hobbitit! Was Hobbitit? Was that the Soviet name, or was that the Finnish name? I thought that was the Finland one. The one from Finland. I could be wrong, though. We watched some wild shit. I also missed the last Hobbit one. Okay. I mean, regardless. We need these. Do I need to point that one at the man's head? What are we doing? Yeah, I'm just very distracted by all the things that are happening. It's not bad. It just is. Do I have bullet? I have a bullet. I have a singular bullet for my pistol. We're not too terribly hurt, but I am gonna top my health off. Hobbit. Speaking of Finland, every once in a while, vaguely, recently. Oh, I can burn that one. What does that do for me? My dad and I have been... Oh, I thought I'd already done that. Okay. I've been playing Alan Wake for my dad because he's been very interested in it. And just as an aside, fuck, that game is good. Like, Alan Wake 2 just fucking slapped. It really cheesed my macaroni. Sorry I said that. I don't know why I said that. I'm never gonna say that again. It's a real good game, though. And I'm glad it exists. Is the moral of the story. Yeah, my macaroni is so cheesed. It was said. It's that classic catchphrase. Everyone's always hearing me say that my macaroni is so cheesed. Oh, jeez. Get the at least the live studio audience goes wild. Get the stock laugh track going behind me. Oh, jeez. All right, let's. Oh, we gotta hurry. Oh, we gotta go. Oh, I gotta go. Oh, okay, never mind. Didn't want to go that way anyway. It was a very good moment. Why are we on this egg? Oh boy! I hear bats. Scarab bats. Why are you stopping? Sir? Yep. Yep. Okay. Okay. You did. You definitely did say that. And it was just a very good, very powerful moment.
It's ready to collapse.
No! Sorry, these guys keep launching at me. I have to pay attention. What is this? That's a throwable. Don't care about that. I have to run. Traps. Traps is happening. It's fine. Let's get this.
Acknowledge psychological trauma, breakthrough barriers of self-deceit, temperamental behavior. These are the Dark Man's terms. The contract. Huh?
He just got souls-born, is what happened. Yeah, Fruity and I same hat. That is how you get to Anne Orlando.
Hey, detective. What are you doing?
Emily!
Oh, I found some.
Great. Was it alcohol?
God, no, I just got the wind knocked out of me. I think I know how to break the contract with the Dark Man.
What exactly does that mean?
Everything going back to normal.
All right. I found some more information on Dorsetto and the patients. There are some seriously strange things going on here. I'm pretty sure 2 of the patients are dead and maybe even the clerk.
Oh, yeah. I kind of just gave up on worrying about that.
Well, just keep your eyes open, I suppose.
She really is.
What were you doing again?
Jeremy made a pact with the Dark Man to keep all the madness locked inside Dorsetto.
All right.
I'm gonna break it. I just have to... Where is it? Where's the talisman?
It's around your neck? I worry, Detective.
Don't, I'm fine.
I worry that you're not much help on this case. At least you're a good distraction.
Trust me. You're getting your money's worth. At this rate, I'm an absolute bargain.
So aside aside from when we first showed up at Derceto with Emily, excuse me. I was laughing way too hard during that cutscene. Aside from when we showed up with Emily to Derceto, we've only seen her like 2, maybe 3 times since all the weirdness started happening, and I don't know if she's like at all clued in about the Dark Man and anything that Carnby has been going through, aside from the handful of times, the like 2 other times that he's shown up and been like, I gotta find the Dark Man. And she's just like, yeah, but where's my uncle? And he's like, I gotta go take this talisman somewhere, and then runs away, and she's just like, okay. So that's just very funny to me. I will be interested to see like what she is doing with her, like in her storyline, which we will play as soon as we're done with this one. I just needed to comment on the fact that like Edward here keeps talking to her like 2 other times that he's seen her since everything started going down, and is just spouting absolute nonsense, and she's just not accepting it, I don't think, but has just come to terms with the fact that he is not helping, even though he is. I don't know. Let's talk all those pages. Can I?
He must first acknowledge psychological trauma in order to proceed. The lying must stop, so we can break through the barriers of self-deceit. Finally, temper manic behavior.
I know my face is covering up some of that, but half of what that man said is not in there. So love that.
Medicine has failed me. Nothing can be done to dispel the hardwood curse.
Glace!
Only the sacrificial dagger may release the despair from Jacob's eye. Yet, doing so would be the doom of Derceto.
Yeah, but it seems like a bad
Let
place.
this curse of mine be a weapon for once. I accept your demands. Oh, crawling chaos. Build your prison around this godforsaken hospital. When evil has been starved, I will stay buried forever.
Jeez, bud. Cois. Nothing. Whole lot of nothing in there. Oh, it's raining. And it's dark outside now. It was still light out last time we were here. Previously at Derceto Manor.
Evening needed some ambiance.
Where are we trying to go? I guess is the question. Can I look at this? Excuse me. Okay. Map.
Carnby
Objectives,
never
actually.
thought he'd be so happy to be back at Derceto.
Break into
It
Dr.
felt
Gray's
like
office.
He had
Okay.
crawled through a long, dark.
Ma'am, she keeps reading stuff at me. Which does give off a big Alan Wake vibe, which is probably why I was thinking about it earlier, but don't have the key. And I've lost that train of thought. It's fine.
Got to be around here somewhere. He wouldn't leave this house.
I don't know what to think anymore. You run into that detective fella?
Who is he? Can he be trusted?
I think he one of the good guys. Well, you know, like us.
Will he be all right with her coming? Praise the mother.
You don't need to know about all that. Just help Jeremy. Just calm down. It ain't time yet.
God, it hurts.
As far as I can tell, Detective Carnby seems to be solving problems, not causing them.
Just be ready in case he starts anything.
It was Lottie and Batiste. What are they going on about? Okay, hold on. We're trying to get to...
The two orderly.
to Dr. Gray's office, which is over here. But I don't have the key. I just looked at it and I already forgot which way I was supposed to go. Oh, where do I go, actually? Everything's locked. Unless I have the key for here, which I don't think I do. No. I've already forgotten which way I'm supposed to go again. Haha, love that. Oh, it's even worse in here now. Delightful. Actually, no. Okay, never mind.
Christ, what the hell was that?
Powerful question. Who's scuttling? Oh, what's this?
Lucy and the Astarte Artist Colony, a monograph by Yael Klein. In early 1909, the old Derceto plantation outside of New Orleans was turned into an artist's colony. 3 famous European artists rented the house and the surrounding land from the owner, the Ledoux family. The colony was chiefly run by Sebastian Cortez, who was playfully dubbed the captain by his collaborators, William Arges and Heinrich Kassel. The colony existed for 6 years, until one day all 12 members disappeared without a trace. It is widely believed that their disappearance is connected to the disastrous hurricane that passed through on September 29, 1915, but nothing truly supports this claim. What is known is their frequent participation in New Orleans nightlife, their love for hosting parties, and their elaborate contributions to the Mardi Gras parades as the Pirates of Pontchartrain. Accounts of their lifestyle can be found in almost every gossip column. It can effectively be summed up as carefree and bohemian. In late June 1909, the name Astarte first appeared in the newspapers. Cortez said the name came to him as he was painting. There is never any claim to knowing about the ancient Phoenician fertility goddess with the same name before this time. His fellow colonist Heinrich Kassel did know, because he later produced sculptures that show clear references to ancient idols of the goddess. It's impossible to know for sure how this name suddenly made an appearance, but it is interesting because of Derceto's history.
Is that the she everyone's talking about?
Even the name Derceto is the Greek name of a Syrian fertility goddess. In the case of naming the plantation, Derceto was certainly not an accident. We know that Elijah Pickford intended to build a temple for his cult, for he had distributed pamphlets 2 years prior to the purchase of the land, advertising his intentions. His followers were estimated to be almost 100 men and women, mostly sailors, Maroons, and Cajuns, when the plantation was built. To outsiders, Derceto registered as an ordinary slave plantation, which enabled Pickford and his flock to remain hidden for decades. The official story is that the cult lasted until 1862, when the Union Army came and burned down the plantation and scattered all who lived there. Following the Civil War, new people started to congregate in the ruins of Derceto to invent a new fertility goddess, the Shub Niggurath. As much as Derceto is a particular name to have heard of, it's not entirely uncommon among the learned. Astarte is equally known and could have been subconsciously chosen by well-read artists. Shub Niggurath is, on the other hand, very uncommon. Almost impossible that anyone in Louisiana would have heard that name. The name is referenced only in rare books like Unaussprechlichen Kulten and the Necronomicon, and is believed to be a bastardization of Arabic words meaning pertaining to the dark young. The few paragraphs printed on the goddess are so upsetting that no one in their right mind would want to build a religion resting on such qualities. The Shub Niggurath cult was hard to get rid of, but it is believed that despite the police jailing and killing several cultists over the years, the main culprit in the cult's demise is the cult itself, which seems to line up with every instance of cult activity on Derseto's grounds. When Captain J.W. Norton of the Union Army arrived, he described the people at Derceto as malnourished and maniacal. As much as the army tried to save them, they fought back with fervor, as if nothing was going to stop them from slowly destroying themselves. While the disappearance of the Astarte Artis colony remains a mystery, the recurring motif seems to suggest that their fate involved lunacy and a hunger for self-sacrifice to that fertility goddess with 1,000 names.
Interesting. What does that mean for us, though? I'm now suspicious of Batiste and Lottie. Unless... I mean, they could be fine. They could not necessarily be wanting this horrible fertility goddess to show up. This horrible in that it seems like she's not great. She doesn't sound like a great lady to be hanging out with. So, like... I don't know. I assume it's fine. Okay, I can't go in that way. Yeah, I know it's blocked, bud. Hello? Okay. Okay, am I am. I'm near his office. Great. What is...
I need the key.
Is it here? Yeah, this is the clerk's office. Oh no, someone broke a vase. There
There must be a
was...
spare key to Dr. Gray's office in here somewhere.
Well, you would think.
I don't have the combination for this. Maybe Jeremy did.
You think he did? Where would he have kept that, do you think?
I need the key.
Commonplace book? Upstairs clock. It's Jackson. That's everyone. He thinks everyone's turning on him. That's about the contract. Oops, I meant to look at that. Not the talisman. We did this one. I'm pretty sure we did that one. Definitely did that one. Definitely did that one. That doesn't really tell me anything. That doesn't really tell me anything. It's not really... It's not really anything in there. In that one, at least. Did he... 9/13, maybe? I know that's the date of admission, but... Mentioned that the sacrificial dagger might have something, but it doesn't seem like it. And then this is what we just read, and...
Alright, time to get Jeremy out of that contract so we can get the hell out of here. Something tells me I'm gonna have to put my talisman to use.
Yeah, but... Okay. Did I say 9/13? Nine. one.
It worked.
Oh, that was it! Okay. I was, very much grasping at straws
The
there.
last guest in the empty room suffered from severe maladaptation. I must write this down, because if I understand the condition sufficiently, it could make me deny this fact at a later date. And there is reason for me to think I may come to suffer the consequences from this dysfunction, as some who came in contact with the guest seemed to adopt a new worldview in which everything was predetermined but broken. Upon accepting this worldview, some memories became unmanageable and later rejected. I do not know what this means. I cannot even remember the fate of the guest. I think they were simply misplaced one day and forgotten. Just like all documents pertaining to this guest, they have all been destroyed, or they never existed in the first place. Who wrote this? There has never been a guest in the empty room.
Okay. I'm just taking a peek at the time here. It is starting to get a touch late. I started streaming a little later than I had planned to. I do still need to make dinner, so we'll probably break into this office and then call it there for today. Pick this back up on Saturday, assuming I'm not too beat.
Dr. Gray's office, all to myself. Let's see if we can figure this guy out.
Okay. Also, obviously, Dr. Gray is very untrustworthy.
I have finished tidying up Miss Beauregard's belongings. I will leave it to you to contact her agent and have them collect her things. I found one of Grace's drawings she might want back, along with this key in her room, which I believe you've been looking for. Mrs. Thompson.
Thanks, Mrs. Thompson. Oh! I know where that goes. Harvey's pirate
This is
treasure.
where the coffee is hidden my favorite young. It's very important.
Okay. What's this? Stairwell key. Anything else around here? The Dr. Medicine? Elmore Lee Gray. I do not trust that man. Before I look at that, just want to make sure there wasn't anything else.
Dearest Dr. Manzetti, I find myself in a losing battle with my patient. As I've disclosed in my previous letter, his delusions have him completely captured. It's bad enough that he is torturing himself with paranoia, but his madness turns out to be quite persuasive to others, effectively laying the ground for mass delusion. I am writing to you in hope that you can give me some guidance. Beyond my ambition to avoid devastating surgery on my patient, I have grown worried about my own defenses. The words of my patient are deranged, yet they often resonate with something primitive within me. I have tried photographing his brain with X-rays. It was surprisingly difficult to get good results. Dark blotches on the plates kept obscuring all details.
The fuck?
My patient looked at the bad plates and cried out in terror, telling me the dark areas was the shadow of the worm, eating him from inside.
Don't let the worm
I
eat
could
you.
not see anything out of the ordinary. I hope this is a sign that my mind is not as receptive to the madness as I had feared. After further inquiry, my patient described the shadows inside his mind as some kind of chthonic monstrosity that wants to undermine his sanctuary. This is clearly a reference to a place he calls Teroea, a sort of library or convent that works as a psychological haven. With this imaginary haven threatened by this Chthonian, he has now constructed another, less pleasant hiding spot. Lately, he has been bringing up a metaphor of a steamboat that has run aground.
Jeremy's
That he
so
feels like he
relatable.
needs to start the engines and reverse, but he is afraid that the hole in the hull would cause the whole ship to sink. I've been watching him turn this metaphor into reality for the last week. He knows it's made up, but he is doubling down, trying to make it a real memory. I feel certain that this is my chance to break through the barriers of his self-deceit.
Okay. We gotta look for Jeremy's x-rays. Brain monstrosity? More likely than you think. Could it be in here? I mean, this is the clerk's office. You would think they would keep records in here. Like, I only have access because I stole a key. It did say that we were gonna break into that office and call it here, though, because like I said, I do need to go make some dinner. And it is about that time. It is saved. Quit to main menu. So yeah, slightly shorter stream than normal, but that's okay. I'm happy to be streaming. Happy to be back. Again, streams in general are just gonna be kind of like touch and go for me for a while. Oh god, we're very washed out over here. Let me turn the light on, actually. Maybe that'll help. Or maybe it'll make it worse. No, that helps somewhat. Yeah. Well, basically between now and, like, post-surgery, things are gonna be a little wiggly. I'm gonna try and, like, stick to my schedule, because schedules are helpful for me, personally, but if I'm too tired, I'm too tired. And, oh boy, everything has been a lot. Let me see. The only person that I have online right now is Super Great Friend, who's also playing Alone in the Dark, and I think he might be further along than we are. So, no raid this evening. Yeah, we're not gonna do a raid. Because, like I said, I gotta go make some dinner. But, as always, thank y'all for being here. It's delightful to see ya. Always nice to hang out. We'll try and do more Alone in the Dark this weekend. I'll try and keep everyone posted. All of the usual, like, hangouts and stuff, though. So, like, Friend Friday should be on, as well as, like, Horror Fest on Sundays. We should be able to continue to do those, because those are, like, pretty low-key. But I will, as always, try and keep everyone posted about stuff. Try and make more solid plans for this next Tuesday for my birthday, and I'll try and announce those when I have an idea of what's going on there. But for now, everyone have a good rest of your time zone. Thank you for hanging out. I adore y'all. Y'all are wonderful. 2 seconds. Yeah. Yeah, no, thanks for being here, friends. I love y'all. Have a good rest of your time zone, and we'll see y'all later. Bye.